The month of December is here, the semester is almost over, and we are back for the final time in 2022 on Inside the Inferno. Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Paul Schultz, and I'm pleased to be joined by Noel Blumel. Noel, we've had a lot happen over the past few months in Sun Devil sports, but over the past week we've had some big news that might just top all of it.
That's right, Paul. Just in this past week alone, there have been many maroon and gold headlines, but most prominently 2 Territorial Cup matches, both of which ended in losses for the Devils. So let's waste no more time and first dive into the football team's trip down south. The Territorial Cup has returned back to the Wildcats, but not without a fight. Sun Devil football was greeted by a sea of red as they entered Tucson's Arizona Stadium this past Friday. I had the pleasure of witnessing it firsthand, and well, I'll let the tape tell the rest. Well, after a roller coaster of a season, the Sun Devil football team did not get the fairy tale ending they had hoped for, as the Territorial Cup, in which they possessed for the past 5 straight seasons, has returned to Tucson after a 38-35 loss against the Wildcats. This back-and-forth match saw 6 lead changes, with the Devils overcoming multiple double-digit deficits. The first deficit came early in the first quarter with a 51-yard rushing touchdown for Arizona's Michael Wiley. The Wildcats would extend their lead with a 29-yard field goal, putting the score at 10-0 in the second quarter. But Arizona State would respond with a 10-play, 75-yard scoring drive capped by a 4-yard ex-Valade touchdown. And just before the end of the first half, Trenton Burgett would put the Devils in the lead for the first time with a 4-yard touchdown reception from Elijah Badger. The Wildcats wasted no time, scoring on its opening drive of the third quarter with a 9-yard rushing touchdown from Jonah Coleman. The Devils responded with a touchdown reception from Giovanni Sanders, putting them in the lead 21-17. Michael Wiley would then score his second touchdown of the game, and then for his third shortly after, extending the Cats in the lead at 31-21. Ex-Valade would punch back with his second touchdown of the game and head into the fourth with a Wildcat lead of 31-28. Burgett threw his third and final touchdown to Jalen Conyers for a 4-yard reception, but the Wildcats would get the last laugh, immediately responding with a 6-yard rushing touchdown from DJ Williams and securing the win for the Wildcats 38-35.
Yeah, it definitely was a lot to go through this season, but this team, we were super close together, not just the players, but the staff and everything too, so it helped being able to lean on one another, call your brother, hang out with your brother, whatever it was, that, just help you get through whatever it was and just focus on football. And ultimately the goal for us was to go out there and prove everybody wrong. So, like I said, it was helpful to have people to fall back on.
Of course, well, it came back to the end, and they played to the whistle blew like it always went, but it was a dogfight, and they fought hard.
For Inferno Intel, I'm Noel Blumel reporting.
Thanks, Noel. It was a rough season for the Sun Devils, but a bright future is on the horizon, as ASU took action only a few days after the season's end to announce the hiring of its new football coach. Inferno Intel's Ryan Blank has the details.
It took just over 2 months for Arizona State to find its next head coach. Last Sunday, Kenny Dillingham was introduced as the 26th head coach in Sun Devil football history. Dillingham is born and bred in the Valley. He grew up in Scottsdale and graduated from ASU in 2013. The Chaparral High School grad spent time with Memphis, Auburn, and Florida State before his most recent role as the offensive coordinator at Oregon. This season, he led the Ducks offense to be top 10 in FBS for yards with over 500 per game and points per game with over 39 points per game. Dillingham has become one of the best young coaches in the country, and it shows, as he was a nominee for the Broyles Award, which goes to the top assistant coach in all of college football. Now, he takes over at ASU, becoming the youngest head coach at a Power 5 school. Arizona State needed to make a hire that would bring energy to the program with someone who knows it and cares about it, and Dillingham, he fits that bill, as he was an assistant coach for the Sun Devils in 2014 and 2015, so he knows the program and the potential that the program has. In his introductory press conference, Dillingham showed that he is going to give everything he has to the job that he called his dream. He's also formed a staff that's connected to Arizona, as he is retaining former interim head coach Sean Aguano, while bringing over Charlie Ragle and Vince Amy from Idaho State. Ragle coached at the University of Arizona, while Amy played defensive end here at ASU. No matter where he has been, Dillingham has had success leading explosive offenses, And he is the guy that the Sun Devils need, an Arizona native that will do what it takes to get ASU back to being contenders. That's all I got. Back to you at the desk.
Well, this move seems to be just what the Devils need after the roller coaster of a season they just had. So looking forward to the passion that Coach Dillingham will bring from his Arizona roots. Thanks for that, Ryan. Now let's head inside and hand it over to Blake Neiman, who has the latest with men's basketball.
Everyone knows the saying defense wins championships. Well, that saying should stand true once again if the Arizona State men's basketball team can keep up their historically good play at the defensive end of the floor. The Sun Devils are coming off 2 well-played games against Grambling State and Alcorn State as the Pac-12 finished off its legacy series with the SWAC. ASU held both the Tigers and Braves to under 28% shooting from the field, marking for the first time they held consecutive opponents to such a mark since 1997. From beyond the arc, the Sun Devils have been even more irritating for opponents who are shooting just 31 of 137 overall from three-point range. Those numbers crunch out to be ASU's best 2 statistical defensive performances under head coach Bobby Hurley. Flipping to the other side of the ball, the Sun Devils' ball movement has been the key to their high-scoring offense. The Maroon and Gold have posted 20 assists in back-to-back games for the first time since 2011, with 10 different players scoring over 2 points in both of those games. Leading scorer DJ Horn said it best. Guys are sharing the sugar, man. They certainly are, and the Sun Devils are off to their sweetest start since 2018. Uncoincidentally, the last time they made the NCAA tournament. The legitimacy of the Arizona State record will be tested throughout the month of December as they begin Pac-12 play and face off against a top 10 team in Creighton before finishing off the year in an always heated game against their rivals from down south.
Thank you, Blake. Coach Bobby Hurley's squad isn't the only team that's been off to a hot start. In her first season as head coach, Natasha Adair is off to a 6-1 start. Most recently, the Devils defeated the nearby GCU Antelopes 80-72 on Wednesday night before their weekend series at home. Inferno Intel's Jack Bartlett details the early success in the new era of Sun Devil women's basketball.
Yeah, thanks, guys. ASU women's basketball has been on a roll to start this season, led by new head coach Natasha Adair. The Sun Devils are 6-1 ahead of the Bryan January Classic this weekend, where ASU will take on UMass on Friday and Mizzou on Sunday. One area where the team really needs to work on during that tournament is third quarter play. On the season, the Sun Devils trailed their opponents 91-130 over third quarter action. Obviously, this is less than ideal, but ASU can rely on Jaden Simmons. She's been highly productive to start the year as she's shooting 30 for 69 and 5 for 15 from behind the arch. With Treasure Hunt's 52 boards and Ty Skinner's 17 assists to start the year, ASU should have no problem figuring out the third quarter mishaps. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Jack. Now, as I mentioned before, football was not the only team who fell short in their Territorial Cup match. Women's volleyball ended their season 13-19 overall with a final loss against the Wildcats here in Tempe after a grueling 5-set match. So again, neither Maroon and Gold team went down without a fight. But the final win simply was not in their favor. Carly Koskovich has more.
Over the weekend, Sun Devil Volleyball competed against University of Arizona for their last home game. Unfortunately, they were defeated by the Wildcats in a 3-2 set match. The Lady Sun Devils concluded their season with a record of 13-19. Including 7 conference wins, the team celebrated their outside pin hitters for receiving all Pac-12 honorable mention. Number 4, Marta Levinska, and number 5, Iman Isanovic, joined only 3 other Sun Devils in women's volleyball history to receive 3 postseason conference nods. Congratulations, ladies.
Thanks, Carly. Next, let's hit the ice as we welcome Inferno Intel hockey reporter Austin Ford to give us the latest on Coach Greg Powers' team.
A few weeks back, Arizona State men's hockey secured a program-defining win over then number 6 North Dakota in Vegas. They were able to keep that momentum going against Alaska Anchorage, sweeping the series, but then faced a tough road series against Clarkson, losing both games. The Sun Devils then returned home to Mullet Arena to face off against number 2 Minnesota. After the Golden Gophers took Game 1 3-2, the Sun Devils bounced back with an overtime win thanks to Robert Mastrosimone netting the game-winning goal. The men's hockey team now hits the road to the Mile High City, where they'll face number 1 ranked and former champion Denver Pioneers.
Man, despite all that ice, the Hockey Devils are staying on fire this season. Now to wrap up our show, Stephen Buxton has an update of men's wrestling, who recently returned from their second out-of-state tournament of the season.
ASU Wrestling is coming off an underwhelming performance at the Keystone Classic on November 20th. The overall performance is mostly because the Sun Devils sent a team of primarily transfers to Philadelphia, and out of all of the team, only 6 of them made it to the quarterfinals. Senior Cordell Norfleet, the lone starter representing the Sun Devils, had the best day on the mat, finishing second place in his weight class after a 7-6 loss in the championship round. The 4th-ranked Devils hit the road again this week for the Cliff Keen Invitational in Las Vegas. The squad will have more top-end talent this time, with top-seeded sophomore Colton Schultz, along with All-American senior Michael McGee and sophomore Kyle Parko all making the trip. Keep up with the team at ASU Wrestling on Twitter.
Well, that's about all we've got for now. Paul, what are your plans for this month-long class break we have ahead of us?
Well, Noelle, before I head home, I'm going to enjoy the lovely desert weather for a couple more weeks. And most importantly, celebrate Austin Ford's graduation as he gets ready to move away and become a big-time producer. What about you, Noelle?
Well, opposite of you, Paul, I will be participating in a 26-hour car ride to St. Louis, Missouri, where the average temperature is currently 40 degrees. So really feeling the Christmas spirit firsthand out there in the Midwest.
Sounds like a lot of fun, but be sure to pack a couple jackets for that trip.
Oh, yes. Thanks for the reminder. And thank you out there for watching all of our coverage throughout the semester.
Even throughout the break, our reporters are still hard at work giving you the best coverage of Arizona State sports. For written content, you can visit infernointel.com. You can check out our video packages on YouTube. And for the latest updates all around, follow our social media at Inferno Intel.
For Paul Schultz and the rest of our crew, we wish you a very happy holiday. And thanks for tuning in to Inside the Inferno. We will see you next year for another season.